So this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be about the North Node and just some general ways to kind of ease yourself into actualizing your North Node. So some people may have a North Node in a sign that you don't have anywhere else in the chart in any major placements, right? And that can be kind of difficult to realize, wait, someone might say, I'm a Scorpio North Node. I don't have any Scorpio on my chart. Like, what does that look like? What am I supposed to do? Now, I have a video playlist that goes through all of the North Nodes and the nodes to the houses. And there's another North Node part 2, part 3 video, something like that, where you can get more facts about what does it mean if I have North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra. So I will leave the link for that. This is more so how to tap into it. All right, so like a North Node in Aries person, right? What can they do? What should they do? Well, from what I've seen and what works is, one, for some North Node in Aries people, it is about releasing energy, like releasing having activities that you do that are physical in nature. I know someone who's North Node in Aries who, in all intents and purposes, when you see them, they kind of look, reserved. They're a kind of calm, laid back person, but they actually love physical activity and doing physical things that, like, in terms of like competitive sports or, sports, or like, driving, motorcycles and things like that. And they are North Node in Aries. So for this person, it is the physical manifestation of doing the things that make you feel alive, right? That's the biggest thing about Aries, is that kind of adventurous, wandering through life type of spirit of like, I want to feel alive. I want to see what everything's about, and I need to expend this energy physically. So sometimes that's the manifestation of North Node in Aries. Now, some people might say, wait a minute, North Node in Aries, I don't really want to do any of that. Well, you also have to go and take new chances. Take that new class. I've always wanted to do such and such. Maybe your chart, you have a lot of hesitation. You have to go out and do it. Experiencing doing things on your own is going to make things seem a little bit more easier as you go through life. I know another North Node in Aries. They are different in their approach to life than the other North Node in Aries person, but the difference here is this person had to go on their own, right? They had to separate a little bit from their family and really take life and move to a new place and do the things that are independent in nature. And once they realized that, even in other situations, that, wait a minute, I have to do for myself, right? So whether that means moving, whether that means going through a period of time where you have to do the thing you always thought you wanted to do. Also, North Node Aries, start a project. If you're trying to tap into North Node energy, start a project. Start something new that does not have anything to do with anyone else. Now, of course, in life, everything somewhat has something to do with other people, right? Of course, you're like, well, I want to get into this. You might have to go sign up for the class. You might need to buy something, right? So this isn't saying like be 100% independent, but it's saying the reason you're doing something, it's for you. That is how to tap into your North Node, especially if you're a person who's constantly feeling like you have to have a buddy, you have to have a person next to you all the time. I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm saying for your North Node, you have to learn how to do things on your own, experience life on your own, have something in your life that is reminding you that you can make choices as North Node and Aries person. So it is important with like those types of energies to find a project and outlet is super important for you guys. North Node and Taurus, what do you do to tap into that? It's very important for you to be really resourceful. It is important for you to start something and build it up and let it accumulate and accumulate. What do I mean by that? It's important for you to see the process of something grow and to do something that requires patience. If you're a person completely out of touch with your North Node and Taurus, you might want to think about even like starting, I don't know, buying a plant. I know this sounds like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Buy a plant. If you have no idea how to tap into Taurus energy, buy a plant and watch it grow, right? And then see how you're watering the process. And that is what Taurus energy is like. It's not about being fast. It's about finding what's valuable. And in life, when something's valuable, it's not always the shiniest, flashiest, fastest energy, right? So as a North Node and Taurus, you need to find what in life you find valuable, and you need to nourish that. Now, you could do small little activities in the meanwhile, right? Being resourceful. If you're a person who is you have a certain goal, you're supposed to take all the things that you have and curate what it is that you really need from that. As like, I think even like myself as a North Node and Taurus, I'm a type of person, like I have everything on backup. That random book that I haven't used in a while, but I knew I was going to need it, right? if you are a North Node in Taurus and you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, but my path is different. I want to be I don't know. You might be someone that says like, wait, you want to be a chef. Well, that class that you took a year ago now comes into now you know how to make something that you now have to make at your new restaurant you work for. You know what I'm saying? The point of the North Node of Taurus is that you're going to have things that you have to do that you're not going to use in that immediate time. So it could be a class, it could be resources, it could be experiences that you have. You have to build the building blocks of what it is that you want in life, but you have to be aware that you're not going to use it yet. You're not going to use this right now, right? You have to watch things grow and mature. I'm trying to think of one more thing. Like even with the North Node in Taurus, making your life easier, doing small things that makes your life easier. You're coming from the South Node in Scorpio. Complexity is the name of that game. But when you have a North Node in Taurus, you're actually learning how to slow down and authentically accept life in a way that makes sense and kind of practical nature, where it organically comes together instead of trying to force something to come together. So it can be, wait a minute, look at this. It could be a small thing. You've been taking the long way to work forever. There's a shortcut. And I know you might be like, wait, but that's not that's a small way to tap into your North Node. Before I really understood what my North Node's purpose, my bigger purpose was, I started to track all the small things I was actually doing to actually make my life easier. And I realized when I worked smarter and not harder, and I didn't make everything super complex, that is where I felt more at ease. When I didn't get into that unnecessary power struggle, right? When I said, you know what? I'm gonna trust because Taurus has a really good, I know it's an earth sign and people don't always understand the fact that Taurus energy can have a kind of intuitive nature to it, where it simply senses what is reasonable and what actually makes the most sense, right? And so just making your life easier, right? Instead of complicating things. If you can take because it's like, you think it's more complex, that it means more, but actually no, you're here to learn as a North Node in Taurus how to make things slower, how to make things mean more, the authentic value of sustaining your own self through what you have learned, through what you have built, building things very slowly. Even if you're a more physical type of person or you're a more creative person, make a project that requires your patience, right? Start to see things that you can build physically. Like if you're a person who's into, any type of activity where you have to make something and create it over time, right? Those are ways to tap into the North Node energy. That is not the big scope of it, but that's the small ways you can start to get to know that energy and meet it. Now, if you're a North Node in Gemini, you have to allow yourself to see the importance of objectivity. You can have a chart where you're very self-assured. You believe you know everything, right? But then this North Node in Gemini is like, wait a minute, you need to be a little bit more curious about the world. You need to be able to open yourself up to the fact that there's different ways to think, right? So when it comes to that, you have to then force yourself in a way. Remember, let's say you have a chart. You're like, I don't have any, Gemini energy except for the North Node. And maybe you have like a random asteroid in Gemini. And you're like, well, how am I supposed to deal with this? Well, what I would say is it's the small ways in which you start to learn the importance of objectivity. It can be you need to read more. It can be you need to consider different ideas. It can mean you need to sit with yourself and really start to think about things in a way where it's like, wait, what do I not know about the situation? So if you're a person who's very much, you can maybe have a lot of energy in your chart where it's like Capricornish, I already know what I believe. And maybe, and you have a lot of and maybe you have Capricorn energy, some Sag energy, and those signs tend to know what they believe and think, and you're not really changing their mind, right? Sagittarius gets inspired by, the outside of it's not gonna, but it's about the experiences. It's not really about gonna change because you said something. And Capricorn sure is not gonna change its mode and its approach because you said something, right? Capricorn will only change once it see that its goal may not be reached, and then they might change that energy. So what I'm saying is, let's say you have all of that, but then you have a North Node in Gemini. You have to then learn how to first sink in and get the information that's around you. You might have to slow down and say, wait a minute, what did I not consider? What questions do I still have about this, right? Allowing your curiosity kind of take over. Again, reading, listening to podcasts, hearing other people's opinions on things, getting the facts first is going to be an important part of your mission. Being a little bit objective, but also learning how to use the gift of the written word or your verbal abilities. You're learning how to communicate in a way in which you are expressing something, and you're expressing something in a way to help other people realize what's around them as well. Remember, Gemini is the opposite sign of Sag. Sag can mold belief systems in people. But Gemini is not molding belief systems. Gemini is introducing the concept and becoming open-minded to what that possibility can mean. So you have to start doing Gemini type little activities, and then you're going to see the bigger picture of what does that mean as a North Node in Gemini. Now, how do you, small ways to tap into your your Cancer energy. Well, if you have a North Node in Cancer, you're learning how to be more involved emotionally in your life. Maybe in the past life, that South Node in Capricorn, it was all business, it was all about achievement. And now you are here to learn, what does it mean to truly feel authentically in a way in which you are allowing your emotions to become a priority, right? And again, it depends on the house, how that's actually going to play out. But one way to think about the North Node in Cancer energy is you need to find what activities and things that help you tap into what you're feeling. So that does mean you might be that type of person where you need to have an app. You go through an app and, they have these apps where you rate your mood and it gives you a suggestion, right? You might want to nurture something. So I know usually we think of Cancer energy and like children or mother energy, but it literally can mean that you have a project, something that you believe in, that is born of you, right? Something that is born out of you, an idea, something that you want to do. And it has to be something that you feel a connection to. And this doesn't have to be anything that you showcase yet. So remember, we're talking about everyday life things you can do to tap into your North Node. So what you might want to do is find a way in which you are allowing yourself to take something you want to do and make, like, for some people it might be making a garden, right? Again, Cancer energy, what I've noticed, well, I think Cancer energy I see is really good with crystals. I think it works. Crystals tend to work really well for Cancer energy people. And I'm not sure about herbs or things like that. But that could be one way in which Cancer, you're like, I don't know how to nurture anything. I don't know how I'm supposed to care about something, because you might not view yourself as an emotional person, but you have this North Node in Cancer. So it can be something as simple, again, like a garden, creating a garden, right? And kind of taking care of it and watching it and nourishing it, and as if you are the parent, right? So to speak. But also with Cancer energy, remember, Cancer does pretty well when it comes to the environment. Right? When you walk into a room and a Cancer person has decorated it, they care a lot about the mood. They care a lot about how it's going to feel when you walk in here. And I've seen this many times with Cancer energy people, of the decoration of where they are is important. Where this is important, right? Especially if you have a Cancer person with Virgo energy in their chart. But that's another way to tap into your North Node, is start to take inventory of your environment, right? You might not be an emotional person all that much, but start to look at what's missing. What doesn't make me comfortable? Maybe I should move this here. Maybe I should move that there. That's why you might come to work and you're never in a good mood, but arrange your office in a way that makes you feel like you're in a good mood. Get some, change the blinds, make the light shine in, right? Get a, what's the thing? The air diffusers, like the essential oil diffusers in your environment. Like, get something in your environment, whether it's in your home or where you are very often. That helps you get in touch with how you truly feel. Now I'm at ease. When Cancer is at ease and it feels comfortable, then it's its most productive self, and it can release that cardinal energy. So that's an everyday thing that you can do as a Cancer North Node, is before you tackle the big things, what are some of the minor things that you can do in your everyday life that make you feel more comfortable? Take a burden off of yourself, right? Take a burden off yourself and allow yourself to focus on only what you care about. If you have a chart where you're doing too much, it also could mean that because you're doing so much, you're actually ignoring the part of you that actually needs to feel emotionally connected to what you're doing. So you're doing all these things because someone has assigned it to you, but your North Node in Cancer wants you to start to care. And again, if you're in the North Node Cancer in the 4th house, that's more about the familial aspect. But if you have a North Node in the 5th house, it's about caring about and nurturing and creating nourishing your creative side. Your confidence is going to come from you really allowing yourself to be seen through the lens of your, being showcasing that creative side of yourself, nourishing and nurturing that, and allowing it to grow and allow it to be something that becomes a part of who you are, and keeping in touch with that. This is how I feel. I felt like this when I made this, right? That is the nature of the North Node in Cancer. Now, again, I have a house video about what it means for the house. The North Node in Leo person, a lot of North Node and Leo people have shared with me that they feel uncomfortable with the spotlight, because remember, they're coming from the Aquarius. They were used to a past life that dealt with groups and being a spokesperson for the group, or being a champion for the group, or maybe, being that person who had to stand up for everybody. So you're so used to being a part of something else that it's now weird in this lifetime to now have to take center stage is the Leo, right? But you benefit from, in some way, putting something out there. That is your creative efforts. You could be a person behind the scenes. This does not mean you have to start to be extroverted, but it can mean starting to put more of what you've created out there. Some people are like, yeah, I do this. I have this small business idea, or I have this logo that I've been working on for my business, or I have this idea, but I don't know. Put it out there. Like whatever you create as a North Node Leo, like post it, go to people that you feel comfortable with and show them what you've been working on, right? The North Node in Leo, you are here to get acknowledgement. Now, again, you're not a Leo unless you are a Leo, but you are here to get acknowledgement. You're learning what about you is special. You're learning how to allow your talents to shine through in this lifetime instead of being overshadowed by the group. So there could be people behind the scenes that are like, yeah, I write music for other people. Yeah, I can sing too, but well, guess what? We're in the age of technology. Like there's never been a better time for people who do things behind the scenes to show what they've done. And again, you have to figure out what platform, what venue you want to share your work with. But the North Node and Leo person, like you're allowed to get shine, you're allowed to get praised. That everyday stuff really does matter. So for you, it is important for you to find an outlet, a platform to put things out on. It is important as a North Node and Leo, you have to be that person to kind of like showcase yourself. If you're in class, you're like maybe taking a college class or graduate course or something like that, and your professor is like, all right, who wants to be the first one to show their presentation? You got to do that. You got to tap into that. It doesn't matter if you're an extrovert, introvert, whatever. I've considered myself introverted for most of my life. However, most of the things that I do are not introverted. My work is not introverted. I have to come outside of myself to do my work, and I do that. But the point is, there have been times I've gone first. I challenged myself. I said, I'm not just going to sit here and just always be the last one going. I'll go first, right? That helps you build your confidence as North Node Leo. Think of ways in which you can show confidence every day. Well, even self-expression, it could be the physical. I want to express myself. Today, I feel like wearing orange. Wear orange. Today, I feel like expressing myself via, social media. Do it, right? Today, I feel like being happy or telling the people in my life that I'm in a good mood. Like that's energy that's like very dominating in a way, not in a bad way, but it's like you are leading. You're saying, you know what? I'm in a good mood. I'm going to share that. That's Leo, that generosity. So North Node is in Virgo. Okay, well, it depends on how close you have an energy or a relationship with Virgo. So as a Virgo North Node, you really want to understand what it is that you're able to give in terms of your ability to be organized in order to help people see how to make things better. But you have to first make life better for yourself. So you're not becoming a Virgo sun unless you are a Virgo sun rising or something like that. But you first have to organize your own life. Maybe you have placements in your chart and you're like, organization, Virgo. Well, I don't know what to do with Virgo and North Node. You first have to look at what areas in your life are not working for yourself. That's the thing that Virgo energy does. And a lot of people underestimate Virgo energy. We all have improved something before because we saw something wasn't quite right. You used Virgo energy. If you've ever corrected something or someone, that's Virgo energy, right? That's the whole essence of Virgo at its highest self. So North Node and Virgo, you have to look and see what's not working. This routine isn't working. Change it up. Your workout routine is not producing the gains you want. Change it up, right? You're doing, at work, there's a task that's unnecessarily daunting. Maybe you're using the wrong method for it. Change it up, improve it, and then track the progress of it, because Virgo representing this harvest energy. Remember, Virgo is not, it has the nervous energy of Mercury, but as the earth mutable sign, Virgo is able to adapt and fix. Whoa, that's not working. Let's tweak that. Let's adapt that. Let's move that around. That is the essence of what Virgo energy can be. So if your North Node is in Virgo and you're not sure what to do, you're going to look around your life and do small things, do minor things. And then you're going to be able to see the bigger things that need fixing in your life through looking around, being like, wait a minute, I didn't realize that thing on my car was dragging. Maybe that's why I've been hearing that noise. Let me get that fixed. Oh, I didn't notice that, that part of my house was, rusting over. Let me fix that, right? Like you start to see the minor things. If you're a North, you can start to do that. And then the more you start to allow yourself to zoom in, then the energy is going to naturally match up. Of course, your North Node has aspects to other planets in your chart, and then you're able to use that North Node Virgo energy in more productive ways. The North Node in Libra. Well, if you're coming from a past of thinking you know how to do everything on your own, or you're leading the way as the South Node in Aries, it is important as a North Node in Libra to start to do things that allow for you to feel that you're at harmony, you're at peace. Sometimes that is as small as, let me start to just get other people's opinions on situations, right? Let me get someone in a conversation, because if you're coming from a South Node Aries past, and let's say this person has, what if you have the Sun and Mercury in Aries in the South Node? Well, that's a past life. We get some energy, we get some information about your past life through the planets conjunct the South Node. But what's going on here is like, you don't know how to compromise, or you don't know how to collaborate, or it's weird, it's awkward. It's like, wait, I have to, so what you can do is start to ask people their opinion. And it doesn't mean you have to take it, but it means you start to learn how to collaborate, right? You think you can do it all, but do you really need to do it all the time? Why not get some help from a colleague that you're close with? You might say, like, you know what, my colleague's way better at this. Let me ask for their opinion. Let me show them what I have so far, and let me see like what their expertise can bring, right? Or it's also learning to relate to people, asking them questions about themselves, right? Too much Aries energy, too much of it, not saying all of it, but too much of it, it does become very self-aware or self-absorbed. And it's all through self. Even when Aries means well, Venus and Aries, Venus and Aries can sometimes struggle because of the, Venus rules Libra, but try, I'm going to do this for you because I think you need this, but it's really at the end of the day, they don't need that. You didn't ask them what they needed. So as a North Node in Libra, finding different ways every day to kind of see the different side of situations, see the perspective. Again, look at life and see where there's conflict. Remember, if there's Aries energy in your chart, you're used to conflict, or you've had experience with conflict, doesn't mean you're causing it all the time. But there's always this kind of feeling of needing to respond or deal with it. Through the North Node in Libra, let me get a second perspective on this. Let me see if I need help with this. Let me see how I can help other people, right? Aries, how do you help other people? North Node, South Node in Aries, how do you help other people in a way where you're collaborating, you're working together? Okay, there sometimes can be those blind spots. The reason why something hasn't worked out for you is because you weren't willing to work with someone else or work together. And now you're learning how to harmonize, you're learning. So each day, and for some people, if you literally are like, well, what does that look like? Read a self-help book, take some type of, follow social media that is positive or helps you see how you can connect and have better relationships with other people. Study relationships, North Node in Libra, read books. Observe other people's relationships is going to help you tap into that North Node in Libra energy a little bit better. The South Node North Node in Scorpio. Well, if your North Node is in Scorpio, you are here to make things a little bit more intricate. So that means you can't accept things at face value, right? There might be another way to do something that's going to help me actually be a little bit more successful, right? So that is important to find ways in which you're adding to what you have if you have the North Node in Scorpio. Again, the opposite of that South Node, the North Node in Taurus. So for the Scorpio person, it is about getting in the weeds of things, making things very complex, seeing what's underneath the surface, questioning things, right? You learn something, you're like, don't accept that at face value. Go research it for yourself. Go look it up for yourself. So with the North Node in Scorpio, you are here to, how do you do everyday things to tap in? Watch mysteries. That's going to help your mind start to see underneath the surface, right? Because your mind then starts to do all this activity in order for you to start to align more with like, oh, North Node Scorpio, we're supposed to be doing a lot behind the scenes. We're supposed to be doing a lot of that work, right? That Aries, ruled by Mars, does, but Pluto was about, no, wait, don't share everything yet. It is about, being interested in things that are suspenseful. It is about being interested in things that require you to have to look, because your job is to look now, not to accept things at face value to make things easy for yourself. Your job here is to make things deeper, to understand life in a way that allows for there to be some level of complexity, right? Even with your relationships, joining with other people, right? Allowing more intimacy in your life. You know what I'm saying? Is this marker of the North Node Scorpio person. It is about, you're going to need to be drawn to something. You're not quite sure what it is, but it's your job to figure out what it is. And that's why I said, like, an everyday life thing is the media you consume, the movies you consume, being drawn to like watching mysteries or watching things that are suspenseful or watching things that can even be a little bit scary, because it is about you are going through the depths of things and you're allowing something to really kind of jolt you in a way that makes it kind of real emotionally, like make it real. And when you make it real through the Scorpio lens, it then deepens your understanding of what it is that you want to attach yourself to. And so the importance there is going to be to allow yourself to dive into the unknown. It's okay. In this, right? You're going to need to dive into the unknown. You're going to need to understand that you're here to see what something is and to allow it to develop into something deeper. That's your job, is to uncover beneath the scenes, because it is about this attachment. It's about attachment, but it's also about the awareness of what it is that is not very visible, right? So if you have a North Node Scorpio, start to do things where you have to research, investigate, where something might be taboo, but like, let me figure that out. Let me look that up. Or I'm not quite sure why I sense this about this situation. Well, you need to dig into it. You need to like start to allow yourself to explore that range. And that's really where you're going to start to realize life works in a way that helps you feel more aligned with, being more of a, not just someone that accepts things at face value, but someone that kind of creates the narrative of what actually matters. All right. Also with North Node in Scorpio is doing something that would require you to grow and develop and master something intrinsically, right? Because remember, the reward that Scorpio gets, it has a level of, yes, we're getting some power, or we are now getting something that we didn't have before through what is the resources around us, right? We are gaining a little bit more, where we see Taurus opposite sign does the more of that building up, right? So the point would be, you can do something that is going to transform yourself. And maybe that is something like, let me give an example. It could be, somebody who wants to transform their body. That is a way to tap into your North Node. You're working on yourself. You know that there's something that you want to completely change, right? Also, you can maybe even think of like going through a rigorous program, going through something that's requiring you to go through the motions in order to really develop yourself and to get better and to really become focused. So remember, the North Node Scorpio, it's activities that require you to get really intense. You're, investing in something financially, investing or getting people to invest in you. Flipping houses. To me, flipping houses and putting resources into something in order to make it better, in order to make it profitable, is very Scorpio in nature. So I'm not saying you have to flip houses. That's a heavy endeavor. Do something that requires you to progress. That at the end of that activity, project, endeavor, in the end of that circumstance that you're in, you're going to be a different person. There's going to be a different version of you, where there's going to be something that you can see that is completely different. That is what we are thinking about with that Scorpio intensity of watching something that you are committed to, develop in that way. If you have a North Node in Sagittarius, you have an obligation to yourself to understand the world beyond what you are used to. If you notice that you are very much born into a community or household where you were limited in some ways, now you have to really start to indulge in different things. Now we could talk about Sagittarius being linked to long-term travel, or that some Sagittarius people, they're more likely to do that, or anyone can travel, but I mean, Sagittarius is getting something different from it when they travel than other signs, right? But what I would say to start small with everyday life things is, remember, Sagittarius is about what's foreign, what is different, what is exotic to us. You can really start with maybe trying different foods. This is an everyday thing that you can do to tap into your North Node before you feel comfortable. It's simple. You can read a book that has to do with other cultures. You can watch different programmings because that's going to help. The thing with Sagittarius is, until a Sagittarius energy understands. Now, if you are a Sag, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever, you already have this embedded in you. I'm a Moon in Sag. I've always been self-directed to learn, to teach myself, to seek knowledge, to understand things in a broad way, right? But the thing is to understand what is meaningful and all that. But the thing I would say is, if you don't have any of that in your chart, if you're not really a Sagittarius, you're gonna be like, where do I start, right? Okay, am I supposed to go travel the world in a day? No. But you can start by introducing yourself to things that are beyond your comfort zone, because then you're going to learn what it is you truly like, what you truly like to involve yourself with, right? It is because some people don't know what they want until they've tried something. And then they're like, oh, I want to dedicate my life to this. If a person didn't grow up in a certain religion, but then all of a sudden they grow, they learn about a certain religion and they convert. That happens, right? Or a person didn't grow up learning a certain way of elite mindset. Maybe someone is into spirituality, but they didn't grow up in that. right? Because they have to experience it first. They have to say, oh, that's interesting. I need to now learn as much as I can about it. Now, the difference is like with Gemini energy can be more about the curiosity of just the facts, the objectivity. With Sagittarius energy, you're seeing what you're drawn to. You're seeing what inspires you because you're trying to create a personal truth. You're trying to create your morals, your convictions. When you have Sag energy, that's different than what Gemini is trying to do. You know, and of course, if you can travel, that's always good to do when you have a Sagittarius North Node, but it isn't always required in that way of like that leap from, hey, I learned about my North Node, now I'm going to go travel the world. You do benefit from going outside of your comfort zone. You will want to, if you're going to the same places all the time, you might need to say, you know what? We always go here. Let's go here. Or you're a person that likes cultural events. Go to a cultural event with somebody that's doing a different culture. Learn a different language. All those different things are very Sagittarian in nature. And again, the point of it is to get closer to where you want to be. For people who are more religious, it is about maybe finding a way to, have more conviction in your belief system. It is about maybe you're a person who's gone away from your beliefs and you are religious and you want to go back into that upbringing of like how you were introduced to religion. Now, if you're not, again, Sag energy, you don't have to be religious, but remember Sagittarius is originally associated with religion. You see preachers or priests, whatever religion, whatever they call in your religion, that is a ninth house thing because remember, religion is not, people have their religious texts, but see how the religion is in the ninth house. It's not third house. It's objectivity. That's facts. It's information. But because there's different belief systems, that's why it's associated with the ninth house. So Sagittarius energy is always going to be about some way of believing. And some people are atheists and some people are agnostic in their Sag energy because there's still a belief. There's usually there's a conviction there. They're going to be able to explain to you why they think that. It's never really random when you have Sag energy. So when you have that North Node, find a way to find experiences before you settle on something. Make sure that you are dabbling in different things, that you are questioning things, going beyond just questioning, which is the Gemini thing, and you are actually involving yourself in the mix, right? Go to that place. Don't just read about it. Go there. Talk to someone from there. Involve yourself in something that requires you to indulge in something that is more diverse than what you're used to. Now, if you have a North Node in Capricorn, goals are going to be super, super important. Now, a lot of times I want to speak to people who are like unsure. People now, North Node in Capricorn, and especially if you don't have Capricorn energy in your chart, you don't really understand how to use it. You get kind of confused because you're like, Capricorn, well, don't they just care about goals? The thing about Capricorn is, I would say if the North Node in Capricorn person is, it's a part of it is about goals, but also remember Capricorn is about finding where it has mastery. Where do you have the most understanding, awareness, and experience? If you have a North Node in Capricorn, you need to start from the source. You need to start from your origins of what is it that you already are successful at? Where do you have the greatest level of concentration? Where do you have the greatest level of where are you more willing to work hard? And that'll definitely help you. So it starts off with small goals. Capricorn energy, of course we know about it, can be enterprising. And the thing about Capricorn energy is earth. So when you do achieve something, that's what Saturn's different. Saturn Capricorn energy, whether you guys like it or not, remember, the thing with that is you get that respect, you get that authority. You are now the person who is considered to be an expert at something. And it is something that you tend to have over time, Saturn being related to age, right? But if your North Node's in Capricorn and you're like, what do I even start? You start with goals. Can you even keep a goal? And it can be something small. It does, and again, anybody can use any of these activities for any node. I already gave the example of like a plant, seeing it grow. But with Capricorn, maybe you're doing something like, you know what? I want to make sure that I am every day that I'm doing something to work off my debt, or I'm doing something every day to build myself, I'm really interested in learning about, chakras. Every day I'm going to go read a book about chakras in order to build myself up. That's my goal. I'm going to know all of them in 20 days. A person who's working out, I'm going to do 2 days of legs, 3 days, or I don't know, people who mix it up. I'm going to do cardio this day. I'm going to do leg training this day, right? that is what you might want to do when you have a North Node in Capricorn, is you start to be regimented in a way. You start to say, wait a minute, I have a goal. It's not just about the tasks, not just about the progression, the perfection of something as a Virgo, but energy. It's Capricorn is about, let me build something up over time. And then over time, you start to realize you see the benefits of it. Because you stuck to something, now you get the reward at the end of what it is you were committing yourself to. So when your North Node is in Capricorn and you're not used to long-term goals, you might be a more spontaneous person, you have to find a way to tap into that Capricorn energy where you are seeing reward for what you are doing. You're picking an area of your life and you are saying, I'm going to be regimented, I'm going to have self-discipline, and I'm going to do this. And yes, there could be, everything else in your life could be going wrong, but that is an area that you would want to say, this is what I'm committing myself to every day. And it can be small. Like I said, if maybe North Node in Capricorn is 6th house and you have no idea where to start, you have all this air, fire energy in your chart, and you're like, what, I have a North Node in Capricorn. Start off small. Say maybe, this summer I'm gonna read 5 books that deal with my profession because I want to get better. That is a way to tap into that North Node easily. And then we start to get bigger picture in the end, right? If your North Node is in Aquarius, you have some type of obligation to the group, to the collective, right? You are here to learn who you are and what impact you can give to your community and the people around you. Regardless of whatever your sign is, the North Node Aquarius person, people are connected to you. And you're going to be able to build a community of people. You're going to be influential in a group of people. I've seen people with North Node and Aquarius, and they have a great way. It's not just like one-off relationships. It's that within a community, within a collective of people, they are people who are driving a mission and a cause. They are people who are willing to stand up for people usually, or stand up for what they believe in. That's the biggest thing with Aquarius energy. It's not just about, I'm going to stand up for everybody in the world. Unless you're that type of person, there is a kind of focus on justice. There is a focus on like this kind of, if something's wrong, we're going to rebel against it. But I always tell people with North Node and Aquarius energy, it's not just about, you're going to run yourself ragged trying to be everything for everybody. Of course, we all have our morals where we might know right from wrong, but it's important to know what cause, what group, what association, who are you involved with? What are your ideals in that? That's going to help you stay focused. So that's the first thing I would say to a North Node Aquarius person. Go to who has the same ideas as you. You need to belong to a community, number one. Whether I know one person, it's more religion. They started off with going back to, they had to find a different place to go. So sometimes people who are religious, some of you may have to, you still believe, but you got to go to a different church or a different place, or a different mosque or whatever the case may be. You need to go somewhere where you feel like, what, this place is more accepting of me, or my friend goes here. Let me see how this community makes me feel, right? For some people, it's an online group. For some people, it's a Facebook group that you're a part of, and maybe you're running that group. For some people, it's, you are a part of, people who have a similar lifestyle as you, right? You can have a person say, what, we're minimalists, and we meet up with other minimalists to talk about our lifestyle. I don't know, right? I'm saying when you have the North Node in Aquarius, you're not sure where to start with, where do I belong? Do I have a group of people who have shared ideals for me? Because from there, I'm then going to know how I can now navigate and be someone who's able to have an influence within that group, right? You're walking away from the South Node in Leo, where it's all shine on you as an individual, and it's more about performance. It's more about getting accolades and praise for a talent that you have. Now with the North Node in Aquarius, I'm not saying you can't do that. There's plenty of Leos who have Aquarius North Node. But the point with the Aquarius North Node is now it's about your giving back. You are now part of something that's not a part of your ego. It's not a part of you just shining. It's a part of you understanding what community feels like. So the first thing is to find a community. The first thing is to find what you believe in. Maybe you don't even know what you believe in. Maybe you are interested in helping people and you're like, but it's the people who are like, I want to do something to help other people. I just don't know where to start. But it does start with like arming yourself with information about what it is that you care about. Is it, people of the same gender as you? Is it you care about people who have been through a similar experience that you've been through? Are you someone who's like, what, I want to make sure other kids don't go, maybe you were, like people who grew up in foster care and you're like, what, I want to create an organization for that, or I want to help another child out. That can sometimes be a manifestation of North Node and Aquarius too, or Aquarius energy, like taking someone in because you know what it's like. And now you have a social The thing about Aquarius North Nodes, you're finding where in society do you fit. So if you are not yet done that, find what you believe in, join an online group, find a group in real life, create a group, right? And again, in this day and age, it can be as simple as you creating a Clubhouse group, you creating a Facebook group of people who have similar ideas and then letting that grow, right? Lastly, if you have the North Node in Pisces, well, if you have a North Node in Pisces, of course, we're now thinking of you need to slow down, you need to calm down, because your path is about learning what truly matters in life. And remember, Pisces is not worrying up. Now, again, Pisces, if you're a Pisces sun or Pisces anything, of course you can get achievement and you can be successful, and you still want the same type of life other people do, I'm sure, right? Money and rewards for what you have worked toward as well. But usually for the North Node and Pisces person, it's more of a spiritual type of mission for you. And it doesn't mean you have to become a spiritual guru, but what it can mean is that you need to tap into things that are not there are activities that calm you down, or activities that are not high intensity. You're learning how to value what is intrinsically real, how to value what is in front of you, how to value what you create without a price tag on it, right? This isn't about creating something and selling it. Now you can, I'm not limiting you. I'm saying the essence of this that's not where you're starting from. You get what I'm saying? You're coming from a South Node in Virgo where it was organization, or reality. You had to fix things. You constantly had to be dealing with the tangibles. But now with your North Node in Pisces, it's really about dealing with what you get as a sense that what you want to do. It's more about allowing yourself to say, you know what, I've always wanted to do that. Do it. I've always wanted to go over there. That's such a beautiful location. Go there. Enjoy the lake view or whatever, right? It is about practicing your creativity. It is about seeing something and saying, you know what, I think this would look so much better if we just added this color to it. Doing that. It is about North Node and Pisces. It's also about tapping into things we can't see. Listening to yourself. Allowing yourself to, guess what? When it comes to certain things, people are not going to see what you see. You're tapping into the things we can't see. You're here to find the beauty in something that we can't usually understand or grasp. So it is okay to veer off. It is okay to say, you know what? I don't really want to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way. It is okay as a Pisces North Node to sometimes need, to be away from everything, away from things that are busy, retreating, understanding what you need to feel comfortable. Definitely techniques that calm the mind. Definitely techniques that allow you to refocus, recenter yourself. Spiritual practices that aren't just about getting something left and right. Meaning authentically connecting with what it is that you feel is good about life. It is about, with Pisces energy, it's not about disconnecting all that much from reality, but you had a past life. Remember, Virgo, work. Pisces is now, let's indulge in the imagination. Watch imaginative movies, read fantasy books is a good start. So again, this video is not telling you how to, level your whole life up right now. That's not what this video is about. I do have the video on the other nodes. And in readings, of course, I talk more about your individual North Node in a bigger picture way. This is like everyday life things that you can do to tap into that North Node and start to get the wheels turning. And so with viewing art, respecting art, listening to music that is imaginative or puts you in a good mood, creating. If you are a creative person, try it. Even if you're not a creative person, pick something up that you think you're good at and try it. Music, art, anything that requires us to have to create something from nothing. That is what you're doing as a North Node in Pisces person. That is where you start to tap into things that are Piscean in nature, gentle, that are beautiful, things that are, kind of draw you in, and you kind of get into your own world. And so it is important when you have the North Node in Pisces to start to, not just be hustle, bustle, hustle, hustle. If you're a North Node in Pisces and you're so busy that you haven't taken the time to, look at the leaves and go, visit a beautiful setting, or to do something creative, to shut all the busy stuff out and do something you like, then you are not activating your North Node and you're living too much in that Virgo South Node. So it is important you have that North Node in Pisces is to find everyday things in life that remind us of Pisces energy, that allows for us to feel inspired and allows for us to feel uplifted, and positive quotes and things of that nature. Getting a book that has positive every day, there's some positive some positive saying or something that nature that wants you to do better and to see the beauty in life and to see the things that are good. And so that is it for this video. Again, I know it was a little bit different than usual, but please hit the like button if you like the video. Also feel free to check out the North Node through the houses video and also the North Node through the signs videos.